Nothing else. Nothing else. We don't have, I mean, our military too. Our money is backed by our military, not by gold. But our military is the strength in behind the dollar. So the strength of the dollar dictates everything else around the world. I don't care what they want to say about, oh, the BRICS currency is gonna, yeah, right. They're countries that don't even trust each other. You come out with a currency and honor its weight in what? In friendship that could easily be cut off? Absolutely not. So these things would help you to understand those things. They all connect together, but in a specific way. So that's why you see some people compare the DXY to oil or the DXY to gold. They're using that to, if US dollar heads the other way, then most things that is commonly traded or weighted in, those are gonna see a shift up. So on a heavily bearish dollar, you know, oil prices tend to get higher. Rates could squeeze, the dollar stronger, whereas it would take less dollars to pay for something or more dollars to pay for something. You look at what those currencies are, or not currencies, those pairs are, what we commonly traded in, and those things you may be able to like correlate. Like some people watch wheat and the DXY, because we're one of the largest consumers of that. There's other countries that depend wholeheartedly on that. Yes, like the poorer countries, but nonetheless, we're a huge consumer. So if there are things that's happening with the DXY, then you can compare it to those things that are directly affected by it. But anything else, I would never. I could understand that comparison because it's a very strong comparison. But anything else, I could never look at or correlate on another chart to say, yeah, this is what I'm expecting. Because the DXY did that. Just don't care what any other chart is doing but the one you're looking at to press the button on. You see it's still up in here. Still up in here. You take this out. I forgot what that was back there, but we know it's a zone. I remember going to the time frame to look at it, what it was. After we extend above this can, whatever's back here can determine whether we should still be on the long side. Because price may be going up to take something out and then pulling its way back into the range below. So that's why sometimes you get a rejection at the 30%, then you can come and get a rejection at the 50%, then you can come and get a rejection at the 70%, because once price makes its way above that zone to the left, now it has lows to run. Those who are participating in this, but was holding, stops get ran down here, back into the previous zone here. And then you see another lunge coming out of there. You understand what to expect when you're expecting. Multiple mitigation. Yeah. And if you were to spot an area that was being mitigated multiple times, could you not quickly find a quick area on the 5-second within those areas that get mitigated multiple times? Even if it was just one candle you were coming up in. 5 minutes, sorry, 5 points. So like I said, I was just pre-gaming with y'all before I do the live stream. You know, because as much as, you know, I'm sold out to the group, obviously you guys see I haven't gone live since we've been doing all of this. You know, there are a lot of people who, like, the messages pile up with all of these questions about whether it's the group, whether it's, you know, like what's being done, you know, whatever it is, you still want to update the public on. So you oftentimes gotta have that, you know. I'm not gonna go all in and teach them what I'm teaching y'all, but y'all gonna see the zones and what to expect around those. And now y'all know, you know, what to expect, even if nothing is said. Yeah, we're the only ones that matter. Yeah, of course, you know, but, you know, some people need a little push, you know. We got to tell them what we're doing. We got to show them that there is a way to just be in a trade for 2 minutes. Charles, I'm telling you, Charles, you should practice on sim with 10 lots. It'll change the way you think about certain things, but it would help you to up your contract size in those areas that you're very, very sure about. You know, unless you ain't got areas where you're like, hey, I'm still learning. I ain't putting no 10 contracts on or anything right now. Yeah. I put 10 contracts on anything right now. You know, but to get there, it'll prepare your mind for you know, what you're gonna see. Don't worry, it's the same thing. You're seeing the same 3 points. You're seeing the same 5 points. You're seeing the same thing. But the profit count, because the drawdown is a little harsher with the higher contracts than it is the lower contracts, that automatically makes us crazy. We start thinking about what if it's gonna go back to here, and look at this. The 50% tap there. Shift away, even though we got a couple shifts away from the 32. This is perfect. This is something that on our contract size, we may be on the 5-second chart and we may be taking something like this, you know, a move that went like that. If we're taking that 5 points is that 5 points. That's why I'm saying that, you know, with the moves that you do take, remove the dollar amount and put the point count. And that point count would motivate you for, okay, here's 5 points here. Yep, here's 5 points here. Let me go by the points. Here's 5 points here. Okay, let me take 5 points there. That's going to help you more than holding the larger moves you do from the 1 minute time frame on the 1 to 2 contracts. The higher contracts, it's going to look a lot different. They're going to feel different too. Some of my contracts fill in different numbers. One could be at like 697, you know, 75, 697, 50, 697, 25. 4 could be on 25, 5 on 75, and 1 on 50. Guess what that looks like if price is just 1 point down? That looks like a bunch of drawdown that you're in. That looks like a bunch of drawdown there. This is what it's like being on higher contracts. But guess what? Even though it looks like a bunch of drawdown because they filled at different prices and price scaled back 2-3 points from the area I was trading from, guess what? I know that now price is about to make its way steaming into that area that I'm trading towards. And I go down to the 5-second and guess what I see? Bullish flip, equal highs, don't take the lows, equal lows, sorry, take up the highs there. There's little distinct things that I see. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the same way it looked like last time. Get in, take those couple of points, and I know I'm out. And that's what? This what, $3,000-$4,000 trades I'm in because I mistakenly forgot to move my take profit up, and now I got 20 points out of that one candle. So let me close. Even though I stayed there for 5, it spiked up before I could move my take profit forward. And I was able to just get out. You know, like you're going to be in entries like that too during New York. But you got to know how that looks on a larger contract. So you need to work your way there. You don't just jump right on, a larger contract. I had to see what one contract did and what 2 contracts did. And whatever 1 and 2 contracts did, that's what 10 and 20 contracts could do. Whatever 1 and 2 micros can do, that's what 10 and 20 minis can do. It's just that you got to trust that same setup. So now it's only being willing to take high probability areas. Once you get that in your head, and once you only trade from those areas, you see that the mistakes would be, you have far less mistakes because you have a rule now. You have a system now. Your rule in your system is this, or it's that. My bad, I'm reading ICT talk about, it is a challenge to get excited about this market so far. I will see what 9:30 opening bell shows us. No bias or narrative at the moment. That being able to have that like opportunity to see that and do that, I didn't have that when I was, fighting through the situation I was in. Yeah, okay, let me just wait. Nothing could wait for me. I had to trade and claw my way out of, the things I was in. And I was slowly able to claw my way out of that and start seeing higher and higher results, higher and higher numbers. Then I said, okay, if I make the same mistake on M1 with 1 micro, what is 1 mini going to look like with that same mistake? What is 1 mini going to look like with that same mistake? This same dumb habit that I keep protecting and keep doing, what is that going to look like on 10 minis? And then you start going, oh, whoa, hold up now. This same mistake, though it looked like this on the mini, on the micros, I'm doing this with 4 points on the micros, and it's the same mistake. Guess what? 10 minis, look how that mistake looks. It could blow everything you worked for. Sheltering that same mistake. Now you start going, yo, you know what? High probability setups only. Sounds like those 10 points is the mid. Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Mid-range. That's exactly what it is, Anthony. It's literally mid-range shots. You basically got a free throw shot that if you sit there long enough, I don't care who it is, you'll be able to make it. You'd have a better time shooting from there than from the three. Hit an elbow shot. Those are some of the easiest shots. So it's like, yo, here's a setup where you come off the screen, stop at the elbow before the other person switches, and take that shot. We ain't calling Shaq. Yeah, you take that shot. And it at least gives you the chance to take that 10. And if you were wrong about the whole thing, the whole metrics of it, I thought it was going to go higher. Now it's going lower. Guess what? You still got your 10 points, got out, and saw the rest of everything happen. Oh, that's why it was best for me to get out. Because look, it would have taken me out right at break even, taken me out of whatever it is. Dave, 5 points with 6 minis at 10. Wait, 5 points with 6 minis or 10 with 3 minis. 10 points look a lot for me now. So, so if you do the 5 points on 6, and you know that you can get the 10, now you go with the 5 points on 6. Because the 5 points on 6 is still far more achievable than the 10 on 3. It has to go 5 extra points. What happens if it stalls at 2-7, 7-2-5? What happens if it stalls at 7-2-5 and I'm targeting that 10? But that 5 consistently makes its way there. Consistently. Taps into the zone, gives you that 5. So if I was like, yo, wait, if I got to wait 40 points or 20 points, whichever one it is, for 2 minis to get me to 2,000, I think it's 40, right? One mini, 10 points is 200. 10 points is 200. So you need to do that. You need another 50 points just to get to 1,000 on that one mini. You need 50 points to get to 1,000 on that one mini. Now you need 100 points to get to 2,000. But if I needed 50 points to get to 1,000 on one mini, but I only needed 5 points to get to 1,000 on 10 minis, you start to do the math mentally, and it's like, you know what? I can shorten the point amount and trade with higher size. But trading with higher size, guess what? That means that you have to trade specifically in an area that you know. You're not just taking everything. You're not just taking every single, it looks like it's going up, so let me take it up right now. And you go and take it up, and it drags you back here. You're not doing that with 10 minis. I promise y'all, y'all not doing that with 10 minis. So y'all are escaping and doing that with 1 mini or with 5 micros, and it's like, oh, I did that there. It came down here and then swept back up here, and then it started taking the high out here. You feel good about it going back into your profit, but 10 minis is going to make you instantly regret when you see that amount trading like that. You're going to be like, no, I'm waiting for the top and I'm waiting for a sweep that comes with it. I'm only putting it here because here's the highest probability. So you might be sitting there for stalking an area for like an hour and a half. Because you know, if I'm going to take one trade and it's going to be with 10 contracts, and I want to be sure that I'm sure that I'm sure that I'm sure I'm going to get that powerful move of it, it's usually this one right here. So I'm going to wait right here. And if you see something else like that form up above it, you can consider that as well. Something that happens up above it. You can consider a small move in there too. But you can stalk and wait for that favorite thing you love. It happens every day. And if you just waited for it, you would see it. It happens every day. Yes, that was my point. Just want to go from 5 to 10 points when I reach the minis limit for 5 points, 1 to 10 minis, and only after 10 minis, 6.7 points. So yes, that's exactly, you know, what you should consider, because that's $1,000 on a 5-point move. Guess what? Once you crack the direction, once you're like, oh, I found the direction, now I see all the pullbacks. Now you got an opportunity to get another 5 in there, another 5 in there, another 5 in that one, another 5 in that one. And then you back up and you're like, okay, I found a direction. I got in 3 times and was able to be successful on those little pullbacks. Taking 5 on each. Let's say 4. Got him 4 times and won. We're 5 on each. Guess what? Now that P&L looks like what? 3,800, 4,000, and you only took 20 points from the whole movement of the day. Each zone you got in, that zone sent price 20 points. But guess what? You were dead set on the practice of, I'm only taking 5 and I'm getting out. That is enough. You were dead set on that. And then you're like, oh man, yeah, it's just going to stay this way. It's just going to stay this way. I'm dead set on it. When I first came into the future space, I didn't know what minis and micros were, so I used it 2 times. I used the mini chart, and then I used a micro chart, and I was like, I'm never going back to the micro chart again. I'm sticking with the minis. I want to learn how to trade with a larger amount of money that I see I'm risking. I want to learn how to balance that. That same 5 points that Charles may take, that same 5 points that Sergio may take, it's the same 5 points I'm taking. But what? Just on a larger contract size. But we all see the same thing. Just on a larger contract size. Look, we sweep. We have this here. We sweep this. Let's say this was New York and I was taking a short out of here. Let's say this was New York. I was taking a quick short out of here. This kind of zone in New York would have already traded away by like 10 points even. The candle coming out of it would be more than 5 points. The one candle coming out of it. And my thinking is swept something to the left, tapped into the zone up above it, and gave me a shift away. So if I'm expecting that in New York and I see it drop like that, I know that here was my reasons for this trade and why I was targeting 5 points from it. Guess what? The simple rejection that come out of there is going to be far more than 5 points that you can quickly just snap, close. There's $1,000. All right, we wait for the next thing. Blame your airball on your bad shooting with 10 contracts. Blame it on the win. You end up with that quick movement out. Why? Because you know the probability of something like that happening after a sweep of something, it's gonna yield me even a reaction, a shift away. We just took out a high on a higher time frame. Of course, we pull back within those. But it looked like a wick. No, a high on a lower time frame, sorry, but it looks like a wick on the 1 minute. Tap into that we run that higher time frame area. Now we know this lower time frame pullback is coming, and it's coming right out of the zone. So we take out that high because the high is on the lower time frame. We tap into the zone that's there. So after we grab something, we hit that, and then we draw our way down. Even if we were counter trending this, you see this ran the 5 points. You see this ran the 5 points from here. And in New York, sometimes that reaction is 15. And then let's say it still trades up above. It's fine. Our rule was, let's take that over. We're going to choose this because here's the narrative surrounding it. And this is where I'll start to look for that counter trend. Remember, we said counter trend, right? Look at how fast it jumped back up into this zone. But if you're only able to see things from the short side, you want to create rules around that. I only know how to short. I'm only comfortable with shorting. That's all I see. So let's create rules around when to go short. I'm not going short with everything. Let's create a rule and let's wait for it to play out. And you can take that quick 5, even if it was counter, and you out. And guess what? 10 contracts, 1 contract, doesn't matter what it is. It's the same 5. Once you begin to understand that, it's the same 5. Don't trust folks from Portugal or Norway. Take a 5 shots and Sergio. Yo. I think Sergio coming in here just, he's on fire. This guy's on fire with seeing those little things happen and being able to just profit off of it and then have enough discipline to wait for the next thing. Like you mentioned, I'd be damned if I let a winner turn into a loser. Don't let a winner turn into a loser. So now if I need to see a few hundred in order to accept the win, now I need to go on a higher lot size and put that to the test. I want to see a few hundred with this small move. I also need to know how to trade for a few hundred from that small move. If it becomes muscle memory and you can do it over and over and over and over again on a lower lot, and you're just focusing on the muscle memory of the 5, the muscle memory of the 10, you're only focusing on that. Once you up that lot, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I told you, this could push right back up because this could just be the retracement, and it doesn't take the low and it trades up to take the high. Your expectations of this 5 was already there. But guess what? You didn't want more. You said, yo, I'm going to cut here. You develop a rule around, yo, let me cut here. Let me cut here. It don't matter about the rest of the move that climbs all the way up into yesteryear. 5 points on 10 contracts is still far better than holding 1 contract and hoping that continue. And if it comes back to your entry by $500, guess what? You lose $500 in trailing drawdown. Doesn't make sense. So, I want you guys to understand that your willingness to take that 5 on any lot size, even if it was on micros right now, you're just going to build up a tolerance. Build up a tolerance to trading that 5, 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 trading that 5. And before you know, you change your life. If you took that 1-5 one time a day, on 10 contracts, you took that 1-5, and you say, I'm going to come back tomorrow, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow, and I'm going to come back tomorrow, and I'm going to come back tomorrow. By the end of the week, you're going to see $5,000 in the account, rather than wanting that $5,000 in a day, or that 500 even in a day. So I hope you guys understand why I keep talking about targeting that. You're not learning how to take 5 points because you can't do 100. You can't do 40. You're learning to take 5 points because in the event that you're trading with size, it's so systematic that you don't even look at the contract. You just look at, did it hit 5 points? Yup, out. Did it hit 5 points? Yup, out. Did it hit 5 points? Yup, out. Over and over and over. You up that lot, you're not slaving on these small contracts and having a scalp here. Let me take this, let me take that, let me take that, let me take that. You just in one trade saying, yes, that $1,000 feels great. Should I take a, I could wait tomorrow. You come back, yes, that $1,000 feels great. You come back tomorrow. Just in a move that you placed rules around and you saw it continue to do it over and over and over again. You're gonna be very understanding of what this move is able to do for you, no matter what lot you're on. What does this zone do for me? Does this zone give me 5 every time? Okay, I'm just gonna use this zone, nothing else. And on the way up, I could expect something. On the way down, I could look into whatever newly forms and make a decision on that. But this zone is the only zone that I'm going to use. Take that 5. And you're learning just to take that 5. It's the discipline, y'all. It's the discipline of doing it. You guys can get accounts on here that can give you up to 35 lots to trade. Can you imagine if you became disciplined with 5 and then you went 5 contracts, then you went 10 contracts and you were so disciplined that you can go 20 and then you can go 30. And guess what? You're only taking 1 trade a week with 30 contracts. You only taking 1. And guess what? 1 trade you can rely on. That 5 points that you've been doing the whole time. You can put 30 contracts on the most reliable thing you've been doing the whole time, which was that 5 points there. Then it doesn't become like, impossible to you. Then you're like, hold up, wait. Large contracts is life. You just, what? Hey. Yes. If we can't be trusted with little, neither can we be trusted with much. Yes. So that one, what if I do all my free time? Yo, I mean, you know what? When I was making so much money, I would have free time and I would just go on other streamers' thing and just troll. Just troll on other streamers' chats. No, man, you about to get your stop loss ran. Don't, I'm telling you, don't do it. Just wait. Don't, just used to be on. Like, so where is your stop loss at? Like asking things like that on YouTube. Because I was done with just 1-2 trades maybe, and now the rest of the day I just spent observing everybody else. Who's, oh no, you see, this is the habits that you're not supposed to have. This is the habits. Why would this guy get in right there if there was a clear pullback? No, wait for the pull back. Because I already made my 1-2 trades. And for the rest of the day, I got a free day. Now, as you go up in contract size for the rest of the week, you got a free week. I saw Patrick compare his compare his entry to ICTs, and I'm looking at both of them. Patrick is on 3 contracts and yelling and screaming about, yeah, baby, let's go, yeah. ICT, he takes the loss in that same area, and I'm looking at the entry I took in that area on 10 contracts, and I'm like, yeah, okay, one is happy about the 3 contract trade that he was holding for yesteryear just to be able to get to that amount. And he was hoping through all these pullbacks that it didn't come back to his stop. The other takes the L, which is fine. We know he could still take L's and then take larger trades after. And me, I'm over here like, yeah, I just got little 5 points in that area. I don't know about these guys over here. Yeah, little 5 points in there and got right up because I trust what I teach. I trust what I teach. You see what we said about a little rejection inside of here? We know a little rejection is going to come out of here. Then we're eventually going to take the high. So our site, even though we're paying attention to all of this, yes, there were shorts present, but we know no lows are being put in up to the target that we had, up to the imbalance that we said is up here as well. This up move, we spoke about all of that. What are we doing right now? Grabbing highs. So in the event that the market opens up and trades up and then shifts down to run into something below, we know that it would have been after something was taken. So now we notice something is taken. If the market goes and takes the rest of the highs here before shorting below, then we understand what just happened and what we could be expecting. We know now to zoom out and look at things holistically. Look at unmitigated areas, because that momentum is only going to snap and tap in the larger unmitigated areas around open. We're going to grab something up there, grab these below here, but we tapped quickly, shifted off of that by 40 points after that wick came off of it. Like, you got to know how all of that works before trying to face that market open. I'm going to tap it. It's going to tap. I'm going to hold it. And yeah, I'm going to hold it until, and then it comes all the way back on you. I've seen that happens to everybody. Yeah, Patrick blocked me. Patrick, he did block me. But somebody that I follow, like some people reshared the video and they did their little own edits inside of it. But it was a video from his live stream. So yeah, I'm definitely blocked. But when people comment under stuff, they make memes of whatever the original tweet was, all of that, you get to see that. So I went exactly to where he was in price on the live stream, exactly to where he went. And I was able to see exactly, what he did. It was just showing ICT's version of his video and showing that, yeah, I was long here. So obviously somebody could block you, but if everybody's talking about it, they're cutting parts of the clip, they're, putting their memes over it, all of that. You know exactly where to go look. So I saw a smaller video in the comment with an edit, and I went to his live stream to where he was, and I'm like, yo, this dude, you're in 3 contracts holding it, yelling and screaming. Yeah, I was in 3 contracts. I took that all the way up there. But 10 contracts, you would have just got out right there. And you really worked way too hard for that. Way too hard for your money. You worked way too hard. When you guys start understanding the power of 5, you're going to realize that you do way too much just to guarantee more of that on a lower contract. You do way too much. Way too much. You do way too much. You would just wait for the simple setup. You do way too much once you start understanding the power of larger contracts. You're going to realize that those habits are worth kicking because a larger contract is worth taking that same small move from. Patrick drives the Booger Sugar Express. Yeah, I'm talking about his entry and where he was taking it. He'll realize, that he's working way too hard for that. You see how I talked about us sweeping this above? And now that we've swept that above, what do we see? So if there was a rejection that occurred in the zone after a sweep of something, yeah, that's that snow. After a sweep of something, you'd have more success in that area because what was just swept. And that's only if you can't wait for it to come back and tap into zones, wait for it to come back and mitigate areas multiple times, wait for, like those little things. I have impulse too. My impulse is just in the right direction. It's just in that spot there. But I have that same impulse y'all got. But it has to be directed towards something that could support that impulse. Something that could support that impulse. Origin of the S&D gave me a good start. Hey, love to hear that. Like it could support. Look at what we're actually tapping into. Even if we, like I said, even if the market open and we make our way up in there, look at what we have. So here's the beginning of the zone. We know we have an unmitigated higher time frame zone. So when approaching this, what are we doing? Sweeping highs to tap up into the larger time frame zone, and then you can see a huge pullback. Or if this was what was supposed to facilitate the pullback after that was swept, you see it comes from here. But it's all within this higher time frame narrative. It's all in that higher time frame narrative. So you have the 15-minute as your daily, the 1 minute as your hourly, and the 5-second chart as your confirmations for quick exits out of those areas. M1 level was tapped on top level. From what? What is that? Yeah, and you still see the break inside. You still see the break inside. taps back up and shifts away. It's looking left on M1. Oh, back here. I think it's here that we took out this wick. This wick right here. I think that's the highest point we went and then shifted downward a little bit. No, it's not that wick. It's this one, this inside one here. So now you know that this is mitigating an area multiple times. There's a possibility that the target is above this or above whatever might be here on a higher time frame or whatever it is. Now you know, you look across. Oh, wait. Now there's a possibility of heading up there, clearing out these highs above here, trading up above an area we've been mitigating multiple times, and then what? Trading back within the range. So now when you look through that context, you're like, okay, I see where most of the higher probability areas are now. It's either something within here, this inside of here, it's something within here, because we've been mitigating this multiple times, and that's something above here, because we've been mitigating this multiple times. So now I have those three high probability areas, and I have to find a way to take 5 points out of them. And you wait, and you damn sure will see the 5 points come from somewhere.